When we talk about transitioning to chord changes. If I play example 1.1 and just repeat, I play bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, those are all the same notes. But notice in bar 4 there's a little bit of activity. If I were to skip bar 4, or basically repeat bar 3 in bar 4's area, a little bit boring, nothing wrong with that. Remember, repetition is an important part of accompaniment playing. But I also was not doing one of my jobs, which is to help telegraph chord change. So to telegraph means here I come. So if I play it as written, now we get this. When I played, here comes the 4 chord, and that's what I mean by telegraphing. So in this case, in example 1.1, we're not technically playing fills yet, but there's this knowledge of the 12-bar blues that says, hey, we're coming to the 4 chord, come along with me. For my students who are playing the first couple times on the bandstand, I'll ask the other musicians, excuse me, I'll ask the other musicians to telegraph those chord changes. And basically, what I'm asking them to do is to play a little lick preceding the 4 chord, or some type of walk down for the bass player, for example, that again really helps to telegraph that the chord change is coming. As a musician, you have your choice to not play it at all. Maybe everyone else is playing pretty busy, so maybe you don't need to play busy. Remember, it's always about listening. Listening is a very important skill in accompaniment playing. It's an ensemble, right? Same thing for soloing, but even more so for accompaniment playing. If no one is telegraphing the chord change, that gives you a little bit of space, so you can go ahead and telegraph those chord changes. So for my new students, that's an important thing for them to be able to solo, or maybe just copy something, an instrumental that they've been studying, and it just gives them that little confirmation of, okay, I thought the 4 chord was coming, and they're helping me to say it's here. So those two things together, your own sense of playing within the 12-bar blues, and also the other musicians kind of confirming, yes, you think you're going to the 4 chord, and here we are on the 4 chord. So that's what this one does. Let me play it once without the backing track, and then we'll play it together with the backing track. So here's example 1.1. I recommend that you just bring back the video and play along with me a couple times before you play along with me a couple times with the backing track. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you notice at the downbeat of each bar, we're playing the root note of that chord. Remember, that's the bass player's job as well. Their job is to play the root note of each chord. So we're playing actively before that chord change, but when the chord change happens, we are playing the root note along with the other musicians. So there's a sense of solidity there. Let me go ahead and put our jam track on. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. Hopefully you have the amazing slowdowner or transcribe or whatever version of software you use to slow things down, and you'll sure want to do that with jam tracks as well. So let's go ahead and do that together. There we go. Here we go.
I had love it on my mind. I got love and I had love it on my mind. If you don't know by now, I want you with me all the time. I love the way.
Worked quite well, didn't it? Now, you'd have to imagine that there's another soloist. you can tell when he's not singing and we continue to play our basic accompaniment approach that he sings his first part and there's around 2 bars for fill. We expect the guitarist in this case to be filling. Very soon we'll be the ones who are actually filling those spaces, but you can tell there's an empty spot there for someone to play fills. So we are playing accompaniment, but we're also giving fills to somebody else in this case. So if we are playing, if it was my band and I had a guest artist come on up, say it's a saxophone player, I'd play exactly this. I would allow them to take the fills, which are those 2 bars vocals, 2 bar fill, 2 bar vocals, 2 bar fill, 2 bar vocals, 2 bar fill, where the turnaround is, right? And we'll be playing those fills soon.